we adopted a greyhound, and she's wonderful. I think she's the guru of the household. And we've had her for about a month. And in the beginning, she was walking very nicely when I would take her for walks. But at some point, she started doing what's called statuing, where she would not budge, and we would have to go back home. And eventually, I was getting a little frustrated because I came from a very angry household, a dictator-like father, and I vowed that I was not going to be that for Julie. And so I was allowing her to just basically do what she wanted to do, but it was very frustrating. So my husband found a video on greyhounds in this phenomenon of statuing, and it was wonderful. So the two great pieces of advice is that dogs, being pack animals, are good with a beneficent dictator. And in fact, they don't feel safe with wishy-washy leadership. And I'm like, oh, and then they suggest the 3 C's are to be calm, to be confident and consistent. And so I'm like, oh, so this is like totally new for me, because this was not modeled at all by my parents. But I was determined that, oh, so she's feeling unsafe. And so I'm to be a leader, but not an angry one. Yeah. So I began to do the practice, and to make her go, I would give a gentle tug on the leash, and have the clear intention. This is what we're doing, and it's been amazing. It's been absolutely amazing. And I'm so grateful that, like, because I thought I would be a terrible mom, and she's that's just really beautiful. So I'm very grateful. I just love her. It's unbelievable. So last night, it was around 9 o'clock or so, and I was going to be heading to bed. And my husband works second shift and doesn't get home until, I don't know, like 1:30 or something. And I felt like she should go pee before I go to bed. But she was not having any interest in coming down from the second floor and having a pee. And I got her leash, so I was going to lead her, and she was still like, nah, I don't want to do it. And so I gave a tug on the leash, but apparently it was too much of a tug, and she had a cry. And oh, that was so awful. She did get up and then follow me down. We went outside, but I felt like such a monster, and like I would never ever want to hurt her. So I called Joseph, and he was reassuring, and she was fine, but I was so upset. I couldn't go there, so I distracted with something and just went to sleep. But this morning, when I got in my meditation, I was determined, okay, let's go into this terrible feeling. And so what came up was that a flood of images from growing up. There was a time when I was not nice to animals, and the anger of my father was transferred through me to animals. And so underneath that is terrible guilt and shame, a blackness, like I could never be forgiven. So feeling this, it's coming through is almost like the body's wanting to vomit. Without the vomit, it's like all this contraction. It's like in the belly, and gasps, and just this whole crazy thing for half an hour or so. I'm getting to the question. And Julie still loves me. She still kisses me, and I was the Buddhist idea of beginningless greed, hatred, and ignorance, came to mind. So it wasn't like it was anybody's, not mine, not my father's, not his parents. It's just like on and on. So I was holding that, I had an appointment today with my physical therapist, who's actually some kind of somatic therapist, and there's always like emotional release stuff going on, and there's not always images, there's just there's like 50 years of shit that is just coming out now. Okay, now I'm getting to the question. So, last weekend, I believe it was, I was terribly triggered by an interaction with my sister via texting. And I was so furious that out of my mouth came, I hate her. I don't care if I ever see her again. She's like gone from my life. I saw beliefs like I'll never be good enough in her eyes, in my eyes. And there was the thought, okay, I need to go sit down and feel this. But I didn't do it. I was gonna have my husband join me, and somehow it just never happened. So I didn't feel it. I tried to feel it the next day in meditation, and it just turned into an inquiry about what is hate? What is anger? And I did not get, the same emotional release. It was just a bunch of thoughts. And so I'm aware of a belief that I don't know how to feel. Like I'm a very expressive, sensitive, emotional creature, and yet somehow I don't know how to feel. But like that's not true, right? Because a lot of stuff has been. So I guess my question is, what is my question? Why couldn't I feel? Why couldn't I feel that anger thing? And do I just trust that it's just going to occur in time? I'm introducing time. I don't know. I'm a little confused.
Okay, breathe.
Okay.
Wonderful. First of all, I love you. Breathe. Breathe. It's okay. It's okay.
I keep wanting to say I'm sorry. Like I'm just.
I know. No. Wait. Because we are piling more on. What you're doing is diversion.
Okay.
You're diverting and diverting and diverting.
Okay.
Everything you have said, I see it very, very clearly. I see it very clearly. The first thing that you really need to keep in mind is that you are loved. You are loved. Even though it feels like you're very, very far away from that, with the acknowledgement that you're beginning to come in, with the insight that is coming up now. It feels like you are the most horrendous, horrible person on the planet. And I understand that. I understand that. Please remind yourself that you are loved. Joseph loves you, and Julie loves you. I love you. And I think everybody who is sitting here is very, very compassionate towards what is going on in your life right now. So just remind yourself of that. What you're going through right now seems like it's something that you did towards Julie. Breathe. And if your body needs to shake, just shake. It's fine. It's fine. What you're actually getting into is how it was for you to be a child and be vulnerable with a dad like your dad. Breathe. It's okay. Shake your body. Could you stem your hands, please? Let go of your hands. Stem your hands. Good. It's okay. Stem your hands. Stem. It's okay. You're beginning to get an insight, very, very undiluted, how it was to be a child of your dad. Breathe. The feeling that you have that you can hardly be in your body. Stay with that. And if you need to divert, stim your hands. Just stim your hands. It doesn't need to be locked into your body. You can stim your hands. It's okay. It's okay. All of that shaking that is happening, all of that contraction, that is tension that is tied up in your body regarding your childhood and your dad. So just let go of it. Whatever crying you need to do, you don't need to have clear pictures. You don't need to know what it's about. You don't need to control any of the shaking that is happening, any of the contractions. Just allow all of it to be released. It's here now because we talk about it. So just allow it to be there and allow the body to release whatever needs to be released. It's okay. Breathe. The gasping of air that you feel, that is very, very early. So just keep breathing. Okay. It's okay. You don't have to hold crying back. You can cry here. It's fine. It's it's tied up experiences. It's experiences that the body went through that has been hidden away and been tied up. And now talking about it, it just surfaces and it's okay for it to surface. You're completely safe. It's just tied up energy in the body and tied up experiences in the body. And you can just completely allow all of it to be there. It's fine. It was there all along. There's nothing extra happening. It's just surfacing. It's fine. Okay, deep breath. Do you see the similarities between Julie and you as a child?
Yeah.
Do you see the projection you made into Julie, where you projected you as a child being defenseless, being forced? Do you see the projection that you did when you were younger in your life and you had all of this hidden away in your body, and the only way to get it out was to be violent towards somebody that was as helpless as you felt? Breathe, breathe.
that it's unacceptable.
Really? Really? Are you sure about that?
It's,
You were you were you were a child, you were younger, right? You didn't have the emotional maturity and intellectual maturity that you do now, psychological maturity that you do now. You were in a position where you had been victimized over years, and in order to survive, you let that out in the same way. So you made somebody feel the way that you felt.
it's awful. Awful.
It's a survival.
So awful.
It's a survival. It was the tools you had available. You can't judge that. It was the tools you had available. If you had a tool available with an amazing counselor, with an amazing therapist, with an amazing teacher, with an amazing parental guidance, if you had had that tool, you would have spoken to the person and you would have used that tool. That tool wasn't available. You used the only tool that you had to survive, to get all of that out of your body somehow, and that was projecting your helplessness into somebody else, being as cruel to them as he was to you. That was a survival, and it's okay. You cannot judge the person you were when you were cruel to the animals. It was a way of surviving. It was the only tool you had available. If another tool had been there, you would have chosen another tool. That was chosen because it was what was available. You cannot judge that. You can only have compassion with that. Can you zoom out a bit? Zoom out. As an anthropologist, look at the Janine that needs to project all that helplessness and anger onto another helpless being. Can you have compassion with her?
Mm.
And you see how loved she is from the point of view that you and I have now, looking back at it. Can you see how loved she is? She was really, really trying to make the best of it. That was the tool that was available. Can you find forgiveness for that? We're not condoning, we're forgiving. We are understanding, we're not condoning, we're understanding. And with lots of compassion, we understand it.
The love that I feel for this Julie, I'd like to direct that way to the little versions.
Yes. Yes.
It's easier with Julie.
Yeah. Then do it that way. If you can see you in her. It helps no one, and this is to everyone that's listening, it helps no one to judge ourselves for things we have done previously in our lives. Those were the tools available, and those were the choices we made with the tools available. If we had had other tools, we would have done differently. We didn't. So it's not condoning. It's truly understanding. With lots of compassion, understanding. The next step, which I'm a bit reluctant to say it. I just want to say it for anybody who's working with this on their own. The next step is obviously to do the same with your dad.
I thought that I have, I don't know, that's just a bunch of intellectual bypassing. I thought I really did forgive him. Cause it's like not this, whatever this is, it's not his, it's not mine. I don't know. Certainly willing. I understand that everybody is operating from a certain level of awareness. And they can't do any better, so how can you like condemn anybody for doing their best? That's a belief, I know, so it's.
Good. Well done in seeing through that one. It is a belief, and that is why this starts to get really, really complicated, because it's easier to forgive if we have that belief that everybody did the best. But that's a belief. You need
So
to
what
let
do
go
you,
of that belief as well.
so how do you, all right, how do you do it without that?
You know? We have that because we need to make meaning of something that we can't make any meaning with. So when you let go of that, you also let go of the meaning. There's so many things in life that are completely meaningless. And it's really, really difficult to accept that. What I talked with Glenda about in the beginning, that it's easier, you know, if you view the universe as there's a higher purpose, good things happen to good people, bad things happen to bad people, and there's meaning with all of it. Life is easier that way. And it's okay to have those training wheels on for as long as you need them. You don't need to let go of it. You can keep the training wheels on as long as you need them. At some point, you will see that there is no meaning. The meaning is a belief. And in that lies a lot of freedom and a lot of forgiveness and a lot of love. But we can use every experience we have had. It's not, when we say that there's no meaning in it, it doesn't mean that it can't be used, that it can't be useful. Things can be useful, experiences can be useful without there being a meaning in it. A thing can be useful, a childhood can be useful without needing the meaning for any bigger, interwoven, divinity. But it's just, shit happens and then we die. And without that being nihilistic in any way. And then I also want to say, just last thing I want to say, that Julie is so fortunate. Really, really is. I'm looking forward to hearing the next chapter.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for holding space. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Janine. Thank you.